Welcome back to Hoppline and a funky review of the Duotone Downwinder SLS. Help me! Oh no, pirates! I know, this has been a really long intro, probably the longest one I ever made, but I made it for a reason, and this is pure joy and fun, because this is hands down what the Duotone Downwinder SLS gave to me. Like most of you probably know, I came from the Gone Crusader as a light wind winging, flat water pedal up and downwind board, and joy is probably one of the associations that's pretty far away from the Gone Crusader for me. So the Duotone Downwinder really took me by surprise when it comes down to light wind winging. I don't do light wind winging, I don't enjoy light wind winging on a regular basis, but this time I really did and I had a blast. I think it's mainly due to the fact that the Duotone Downwinder is really light and compact and stable in the water, and once you're on foil it feels like a normal board. There's no extra weight bouncing around and I really had a good time, and I think this was mainly due to the board being so light and stable in the water and making it easy to get up on foil in light wind conditions. And I think this is one of the key factors this board will sell really good, mainly for light wind winging. So let's get some facts of the board. It's been designed in cooperation with the Spencer brothers, and I think they did a really good job of getting some key features together. It's a Kalama style tail, and the board is getting a little bit wider under your front foot. The 6'4" I board is 19 inches wide, which is more or less a regular size for me in small wave surfing. It's got a really nice deck grip in two different shades of gray. One is for your front foot and the other one's for your back foot with little stripes, giving you a really nice orientation for foot placement. So I think the goal of the design process was to make not too many compromises. So they left the inserts for the straps, and I think if you're riding straps on a board like this, you're doing something wrong. It gives you the most freedom without straps, and that's something you want in downwinding and light wind winging. Further, they skipped the handle for carrying, and the board is not too wide, so it's still easy to carry, especially because it's so light. So if you would ask me, do you want inserts, do you want a handle on the additional costs of, let's say, 500 grams, I would definitely go for not having inserts and not having a handle. The foil tracks look really solid and gave me more than enough travel for adjusting my foil. So let me give you a quick rundown on how the board feels in the water in the different disciplines, and I want to start with light wind winging because I really think this is what most people are going to buy this board for and where it really excels. So the wider area underneath your front foot, the speed of the planing surface and the quick release of the tail really give you the ability to apply a lot of force into your pumping because of the stability, and releasing early, getting you on foil in the slightest breeze. Even in light wind conditions of, let's say, 6 to 8 knots, it was fairly easy to get on foil, and once you're up, because of the lightweight construction, it feels like a normal board, and I really enjoyed riding the Duotone Downwinder SLS. So let's move on to flat water pedal ups, and that's actually the first thing I did after I unboxed the Duotone Downwinder SLS. And climbing on the board, I could instantly feel that it's more stable than my Gone Crusader, which has an additional 20 liters of volume. So making my first pedal stroke, I then noticed that the Duotone Downwinder SLS tends to turn around your front foot because this is the widest area. It's not wide, like it's 19 inches wide, which is quite narrow, but still this is like a pivot point. And to make the board go straight, I had to apply a little bit more pressure to my back foot to push the Kalama tail into the water and go into a straight line. So this was something I needed to get used to, and like I said, once you gain some speed, it's going straight perfectly. The second thing I noticed is that once you're accelerating and you want to go into a pumping motion, because you have a lot of volume under your front foot and the tail is so narrow and digs into the water really easy, it's really easy to pump, and it's so effortless that you're actually, or I tended to pump too hard and too early. So that was something I needed to get used to not start pumping and just let the board go, accelerate, gain some speed, and then pump really gently. In my first tries, I lifted the foil too early and too hard, just going up high, which feels nice, but you're stalling your board and you're wasting power and energy, and I dropped down again and I had to start over again. But once you get used to it, it just makes everything a little bit more effortless. You just need to know what you're doing. And last, once you are on foil, because the Duotone Downwinder is so light and so compact, pumping is pretty easy. Moving on to downwinding, and this is something I can only talk about briefly because we don't have any huge downwind conditions here. I did some small runs on windy chop river waves and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I did some small pedal ups into some bumps and mainly some wing support runs, which were really fun. So let's talk shortly about durability, because that really was an issue with my Gone Crusader. But with the Downwinder SLS, even though Duotone mentions it's not made for jumping, and even in the videos they say it's fragile and it might break easily, I didn't have any problems. I bumped a few times into things. I think the handle from my wing hit the board a couple of times. I dropped my paddle on the board and there's nothing. Like, so far I don't even have a scratch, and I'm surprised how durable the board is. So let's put it all together, and I think the key feature of the Downwinder SLS is lightness, not adding weight by having strap inserts and a handle and maybe some fancy other stuff. I think that was a really good idea not to make too many compromises, and it really pays off. In light wind winging, I really enjoyed the Duotone Downwinder SLS because it was so light once I was up on foil, and it was so stable and easy to get up on foil. In flat water paddle ups, the same, like once you're up on foil, it feels so much better because the board is so light. And being so light and having this narrow tail and the wide and floaty area underneath your front foot, once you get used to it, makes it really nice and easy to get in this pumping, bouncing motion and get up on foil. At the same time, it's really fast for light wind winging takeoffs and for flat water paddle ups, and I think the same is for downwinding. It should be really easy to get into those bumps, and once you're up and surfing, it's a blast. Before we come to an end, I want to talk about size and volume and which size you should go for. I'm 65 kilograms with all the additional weight of like winter sessions, a big wetsuit, wet wetsuit, and booties, gloves, a hat. I'm probably 68 kilograms, and I decided to buy the 6.4 85 liter version, which was more than enough flotation for me. It was really stable because of this nice front foot area. And for flat water paddle ups, I think it was perfect. For light wind winging, it was more than enough, and I could probably have less volume on the light wind winging. But for downwinding, I would probably go for the bigger one, for the 610, just to even have a little bit more stability in rough conditions. And if you think about like a long downwind run where you have to get up on foil several times, like maybe 30 to 40 times, I think a 610 would have been the better option. But with my background of being placed in the middle of Germany and mainly riding small river waves, windy chop things, and not being too much on the open ocean, the 6.4 85 liter is a perfect pick. So will the Duotone Downwinder SLS make it into my quiver? Yes, it will. I will keep it mainly for light wind winging, which is not light wind winging, which is more light wind getting up on the Downwinder SLS and cruising small waves. This is something I really enjoyed. Flat water pedal ups are really nice, but I still need some practice, the same for downwinding. But having a wing and the ability to get up on foil really easy and then just dropping the wing, having it flagged out and surfing waves and then just cruising back and surfing waves again was really fun. Something I've not so much done before, but something I really enjoyed, and it gives you the ability to not only work on things like foot position, but to just improve your riding. And in the beginning of downwinding, when you're doing a pedal up and you caught a wave and then you're really kind of scared to fall because you know you have to start all over again. So you're not gonna be really hard on your turns, you're gonna be more on the safe side, just riding the wave. But with the wing and the ability to get up on foil over and over and easily again, you can just throw in some turns, crash, do it over again, play, work on your surfing skills and just enjoy. And this is something I'm gonna take the Duotone Downwinder for. I'm enjoying the board and I'm enjoying riding small riverways and just improving my downwind skills and pedal up skills by winging and getting me into those bumps and just practicing. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and like always, if you have questions, use the comments below and I'll get back to you. Don't forget to subscribe because it really helps, and hopefully see you soon on this channel. Take care.